goose calls and duck calls way different as far as like the sticking points and stuff like that. There's a lot more variations of duck calls than there are goose calls, but for the most part, you get what you pay for. So like there's a reason that there's, a Canada hammer is 25, 30 bucks or whatever. Or you could have this. So I've got 2 GK calls that actually were just sitting on my desk. But so I do some photography for GK. So they hook me up with these calls. They're both acrylic calls. They're both like 200 some bucks. Like they're expensive. But the thing is like, so I don't know how well you can see it, but like, so these are short reed goose calls. Mm-hmm. So depending on, they refer to them as the guts, but like that little insert there, the more broken in that your reed is, the less it's going to stick. It'll flex a little bit more. So like the more that you call on it, the better it gets. So you can also adjust that reed in there. There's a little nook. So like it sits like a little crevice behind the reed. And that reed should just, barely skin that reed or that crevice there. That'll keep it from like hanging up, because the guts of them are what kind of keep that reed and allow it to flow when you're calling. So like you also need a lot of back pressure on calls. So like the back pressure comes from opening and closing this hand. Mm-hmm. And that's what also helps vibrate that reed. So like if you just like open hand call on it, it's just going to sound awful. But then like there's a lot of your air that really helps it too. So like once you learn like how much air you need to blow, how much back pressure you have to give on the call, then you can kind of fine tune the sound of it. So the biggest thing is just getting like that real deep, vibrate the reed, but then give it enough air to actually make the noise. Mm-hmm. And then you can start playing with your back pressure and you kind of go from there. I'm not like a great goose caller. As far as like how technical you can get, I can call geese in, but that's because I do very simple calls. I do single clucks, double clucks, moans, and that's about it. Like I don't get real fancy with it. I've noticed that when I've been around people that do get real fancy with it, that it kind of turns the geese off a little bit. Because when you're thinking about it, like geese are always hearing other geese call. Like if they haven't died yet, it's because they're not getting caught up by like the fancy calling, like they hear. And that's why like if you're on a big body of water and there's 2 live geese down from you and you've got 4 dozen goose floaters in front of you, they'll go land with them because they sound like real geese and they move like real geese. So like it's very finicky. Like geese can be real tough to call in. But from my experience, the more pressured they are, the less technical you should be with your calling. So like I will just, if there's 6 geese coming in, I'll tell everybody to shut up and I'll just do single clucks. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And then once they get close, have somebody maybe hit a moan call, whoop, and then kill it. Once they're locked up, I just kill the calling. And some people will say that the dead silence means that something's wrong or whatever. And so like, then you'll get people, and they start sounding like an Indian, but like, it doesn't need to be that technical. Like it's if you just concentrate on the basics, you're going to kill geese.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.